Hi Aquarius, welcome to your January 2020 Astrology 33 reading, and also happy birthday early birthday I should say, to those of you who celebrate in January. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, if you watch this at the time I'm posting it, I actually won't be offering personal readings at that time, but when we do actually physically roll into the month of January, I should have them picked up again by then. So just check out the description of the video if you're interested in that. Alright, as far as what we have in front of us, we have a Celtic Cross spread as always. You guys got some extra cards that came out there. And then we also have a couple of Oracle cards to look at and a mudra card. Alright, so let's get started with the main spread. In the main situation position, you guys have the moon. So this could really be pointing to a few different things astrologically. I mean, at the time of recording this, we had a full moon in Gemini recently, which is your fifth house. And given that in the challenger obstacle position, we do have a major arcana card of Leo, it could be pointing to that definitely because they are the natural rulers of the fifth house. Another way this could be playing out too, though, we're going to have a new moon eclipse that's going to be in your 12th house. So that could be significant. And then, especially because it's actually going to be trine Uranus, which is your ruler, and that's going to be in your 4th house. And then we also have a full moon that's going to be going on in your 6th house of Cancer, and that'll be around somewhere in the second week of January. So there's some significance there as well. So there's definitely a few different things it could be pointing to as far as those astrological aspects, but on a general level, this could just even be saying that you might feel a bit confused regarding a situation and maybe not ready to move on it just yet. You might feel like there's some deception at play, but you're just not quite sure. It's one of those things where maybe you suspect something's going on, but you don't necessarily have the proof. That's really what I'm picking up on. And if that's the case, those lunar cycles, definitely watch for some information to come around those times. Like I said, especially that new moon that we're going to have basically right before January starts. It'll be around the 26th, I believe. Since that's definitely involving your ruler, there could definitely be some significance there, especially if it's related to home and family for some of you. And the actual eclipse in Cancer in the second week of January, maybe that would hold some significance for you guys, especially if it's something related to the workplace. So that's what I'm picking up on there. In the challenger obstacle position, you guys have the Strength card. So this is the major arcana card for Leo, like I was saying before. That's your opposite sign. So this could be revolving around a relationship. Maybe you suspect something's going on, for example, but you're not quite sure. And then that woman holding a lion's mouth closed could even represent in this fact that because you feel like you don't have all the facts, that might be why you're not speaking up just yet. You're like, all right, maybe I'm suspicious of something, but I don't have proof. Let me not say anything just yet, right? So it could be you trying to hold back your tongue in that regard. Another way this could be playing out too, though, is in some decks this is actually referred to as the Lust card. So it could definitely be something where maybe you have an attraction for someone, very sexual attraction, but you're not quite sure if those feelings are reciprocated. So maybe you're holding back on it a little bit. And for some of you, this could even involve maybe some kind of project you've been working on that maybe you're thinking of releasing it, but you're holding back a little bit. In the foundation position, we have the High Priestess and the Five of Swords. So the interesting thing here is actually towards the end of January, there's going to be a new moon in your sign. And this actually represents the first 10 degrees of Aquarius. And when that new moon happens, it's actually going to be square Uranus. So whereas the new moon in Capricorn is going to be making a supportive aspect to Uranus, the one in your sign is actually going to be squaring it. So there's definitely some potential for conflict there, definitely in the home environment or possibly with family. So again, one of these things where maybe you feel like if you do whatever this situation is here, you might feel like if you address it, this is what it's going to lead to. You're like, all right, I know this is going to lead into a big blow-up argument if I say anything. So you could just be trying to rely on your intuition to figure out, okay, how should I best navigate this, especially because the moon can point to intuition as well. And I also see this as a Pisces card, so for some of you, you may be dealing with a Pisces, or possibly even for a lot of you as an Aquarius, you might have, let's say, your Venus or Mercury in that sign also, so that could be what that's pointing to. And there's going to be plenty of activity going on in your 12th house too, so maybe that's what all of this is pointing to as well. Maybe it's saying that, you are trying to rely more heavily on your intuition. And, on the positive side of 12th house transits, it can help you tap into your intuition. On the more negative side, though, it can make you feel like you're in a bit of a fog. So you could just be trying to navigate those energies. Past energy, we have the Queen of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. So this is actually a court card of Libra, so it's possible some of you are dealing with a Libra, but since this is the air element, this could definitely be pointing to your energy as well. And then with the Ace of Pentacles, this could represent an offer, or well, at least the thought of making an offer around sometimes an actual financial offer. Sometimes it's even making an offer of stability to someone. So let's say you wanted to enter into a committed relationship with them, for example. That could be what's at play there. Seeing these two cards together, it really can be tied into the same thing where, like I said, there's a few different ways it could be playing out, but this could be, it could run the gamut. So for those of you where this is a workplace thing, like I said, maybe you might feel like there could be some deception there around how you're being paid, right? Like maybe you feel like they're withholding some money from you, but maybe you're trying to hold off on speaking about it yet because, again, you might feel like, all right, maybe I'm just not seeing the situation clearly, right? Or maybe they told you, oh yeah, you get a raise at the start of the year or a year-end bonus, and it's not coming up, so you've been trying to hold back on speaking on it. That could be what's at play there. And for some of you, this could even be, like I said, for those of you, if you have an attraction to someone, but you're not sure those feelings are reciprocated, it could be the same thing here, pointing to that, which is to say you want to make an offer to someone, but, you're holding back on it because the ace energy versus a page energy, for those of you who watch my videos, you probably heard this plenty of times, but to me, the ace represents something in the idea stage. To me, I see that because of the way that hand is always coming out of the cloud. So that represents an idea coming to you to me, as opposed to actually making the offer. So that could be what's at play there. It's just been on your mind, but you haven't acted on it just yet. In the present position, we have the Four of Cups. This card has been coming up a lot for people this month, and I really do feel like that has to do with that Cancer energy that we were talking about, with that eclipse going on there. And what this is saying to me is that this can just represent that you guys are getting a lot of offers elsewhere, right? But maybe because you haven't spoken out on this specific situation, it might have you feeling a bit stuck, So it's one of those things where it's like, all right, you might not even be paying attention to these offers because you're so fixated on the one situation. And because you don't have clarity or closure on it, it could just have you feeling like you're in a bit of stuck energy. Now, for you guys, Cancer energy is actually your 6th house too. So this could again be pointing to what I was saying too, as far as there could be workplace situations at hand. So for some of you, maybe this is even, you're just going through different job interviews right now, and maybe you feel like they're not making you an offer that truly values you correctly. So you could just be declining, maybe you went on a few interviews and none of them are really vibing with you. So you could just be declining them. That could be what's at play there. And with that full moon happening in your 6th house, that might actually help clear some, some of the worst options away and make the better option a bit more clear. So that could be what's at play there. In the near future position, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So I would say for those of you, especially where this is around finances, this can represent that the offer that they have maybe promised you finally will be coming through soon. This, you have to keep in mind, well, this is Virgo energy for one, so that's 8th house for you. So that's why I feel like, 8th house usually represents money from others. So that could be what's at play there, which is, like I said, maybe someone had offered you something in the past, or at least was thinking about offering it to you, right? So maybe you've been working and you feel like, oh, I should have a raise by now, I should be promoted, but maybe you're trying to hold back on that because, the Strength card can point to ego as well. And, when we think ego, we think negative connotation. But it could, in this regard, just be saying that, you know what you bring to the table and you feel like you're not being compensated. But, maybe you're like, all right, I'll give it till January, right? Maybe like, all right, maybe once the new year rolls around, they'll offer me that promotion or that bonus, right? So you've just been holding off a bit. So with this in the near future, does show that you might be getting those offers. But like I said, given that it is the Knight of Pentacles, which is the slowest moving knight, it just might have been a long time coming, basically. And now for those of you where I was saying maybe you wanted to extend an offer to someone, right? Maybe you've just been holding back on it. With this in the near future position, it shows that you might actually be ready to make that move this month. So whatever goes on with all these transits, you might feel like you have the clarity to make that move. That could be what's at play there. Of course, some of you can be dealing with a Virgo as well. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Seven of Cups reversed. So this is another indicator for me, which is good, because we were talking about all that 12th house energy. You guys have had a lot of heavy energy in your 12th house recently. And now we are going to have Jupiter moving in there. Well, it's already in there, basically. So having it in your 12th house, in one regard, it could actually just expand those issues, with 12th house matters. But at the same time, it could also help lighten the load. So you might feel like it's a little bit easier to navigate your subconscious now. And because of that, maybe you've been in a fog for a while, and now you're starting to get that clarity. And not only that too, but other planets going through Capricorn, for example, Mercury and Venus, they'll be moving through your sign now. So as these planets, and then eventually the sun, of course. So as these planets come out of your 12th and move into your first, it might help you get a little clarity on your situation as well. All right, in the position of the environment, we have the Eight of Pentacles and the World. So for those of you who have been looking for and waiting on a job offer, like I was talking about earlier, this to me represents that with this being in the environment position, with the World card, it could just be saying that, okay, that cycle comes to a completion, you do accept the job, or again, maybe you get some kind of a raise or promotion in that area. Now, another way this could be playing out too, this is actually a Virgo card, so again, we see that 8th house thing. So again, this can be others extending offers to you on a financial end, but for some of you, this could even represent you deciding to go into business for yourself, because what I always say with this card is, to me, it represents someone making their own money, because, quite literally in this picture, he is making his own money, right? So this could just be you deciding to go into business for yourself, and maybe if not as your only full-time gig, but at least maybe as a side gig, you might decide, all right, well, and again, maybe this is something you've been holding back on for a while, right? With that strength card, like maybe it's some kind of creative idea you've had, but you haven't been ready to move on it yet. And now this could just be representing you actually investing in it, right? So that could be what's at play there. And with the World card too, it could be one of those things where this could just be saying that you might be putting whatever you're selling on the internet, for example. Could be as simple as that, which gives you access to customers from all around the world. So that could be what's at play there. But yeah, either way, I also see this as a North Node card, and we do have the North Node in your 12th, and also a bit of Saturn energy with this too, also in your 12th house. So again, this could just be saying that all of these ideas you might have been ruminating on for a while, now you're finally moving forward on them. And of course, obviously, this can be someone in your environment that you're dealing with as well. And it can be saying that it could be as simple as, if you make an offer to a person, right, that you've been thinking about for a while, this could just be saying that, okay, once you make that offer to them, they're going to start putting in the work, right? That's another way to look at it. All right, in the position of the hopes or fears, we have the King of Swords, which is actually the court card for your sign, and the Six of Pentacles. So, to have this coming up and upright, and it is your card, I'm going to assume that this is a hope of yours, right? And this could just be saying that, if we want to take it at a very surface level, the Six of Pentacles is usually about balancing things. This is actually a Taurus energy. So this could just be as simple as saying that you're hoping to regain your balance, right? Maybe you've been feeling out of sorts. Like we said, there have been those heavy energies in your 12th house, and now that we do have Jupiter moving through there, and like I said, it's at the time of recording this, it's pretty much trine Uranus, which is your ruler, in your 4th house. So this could even be around home and family. You know, maybe you guys are just feeling more comfortable. Maybe some of you have moved recently, and maybe you've been feeling a bit unsettled in the new area where you've moved to, and now you're finally starting to get settled. Or for others of you, there might actually be an urge to move, and you know, with the more supportive aspect that we're talking about towards the end of December, that might make you really want to make that move. And then, like I said, just be mindful when you have that new moon in your sign. It's going to be a bit more of a tense aspect with Uranus, so might, you know, be a little bit rougher to move around that time. Or the urge could become even more powerful. That's another way it could play out too. Alright, so in the outcome position we have the Sun. So this is actually, while it's not technically the major arcana card for Leo, we do see the Strength card there, and they are ruled by the Sun, so this could definitely be pointing to more Leo energy. So again, it can just be as simple as saying that for those of you, if this has been more of a relationship thing where maybe you've been holding back on extending an offer to someone, this can show that maybe you guys are going to have that relationship by the end of the month. That's one way it could be playing out. This could be something as simple as pointing to the fact that towards the end of the month, the Sun will be in your sign, right? So maybe this could just be indicating a timeline, which is to say, you know, relying on your intuition early in the month, trying to figure out, all right, do I make a move? Do I speak out? Do I say something, right? You start to get that clarity as the month moves along, which we start to see with that Knight of Pentacles, right? So by the end of the month, you're feeling more in your zone. It's like, all right, all of these 12th house transits I've had going on. Some of those planets are starting to move into my sign, starting to get more clarity, starting to get more confidence, and ready to move on situations, and you do so. So that could be what's at play there. But, I mean, pretty much no matter what scenario this is regarding, having the Sun in the outcome card, especially as we come into your season, that's definitely a really good card to have. So, and like I said, not only that, but that 7 of Cups in reverse, too, is a pretty good indicator that if you have just been in some kind of a fog or a funk, that should start to lift for you guys. Alright, and I do have to say at the bottom of the deck, you guys have the 9 of Wands. So this is actually a Sagittarius energy. And so for some of you, maybe this is even a situation where you might have had a falling out with a friend, since Sagittarius energy represents your 11th house. And maybe it's just as simple as that, you know, you and your friend having a bit of a showdown as far as, okay, who's going to speak first, right? Who's going to try to mend the situation first? So that could be what's at play there. And then for others of you, this could just show that general reluctance that I was saying for you guys to move. You know, you might feel like you weren't seeing things clearly, but again, like I said, I do see that lifting for you guys this month with 7 of Cups in reverse and the Sun in the outcome. So shouldn't be too significant of an energy for you guys. Could just be pointing to the general theme that's at play that got you into the situation. Alright, now moving on to your Oracle cards. First we have Fork in the Road. There's the artwork, and the number is 13. And maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like you guys are the only sign that gets this card in particular, and I feel like you've had this at least a couple of other times. So maybe this is finally pointing to, again, maybe that's been a recurring theme for you guys, where you've had these two options and you've been unsure which way to move. But like I said, at least as far as looking at the main spread along with this card, it looks like you might finally be ready to make that move. So this could be something you guys have been thinking about for a while. Maybe even back to the time of Libra, for example, since that's a Libra card in the past position. But yeah, let's take a look at what it has to say. Okay, it says, time to make a decision, considering the consequences as you prepare to act, owning up to your obligation to make a necessary choice. The Oracle's message: every choice has a consequence. You've arrived at a fork in the road and are being asked to come to a decision. Will you further your dreams by choosing left or by choosing right? Will you take the road less traveled or the one well worn by others who have come before you? This is your choice and yours alone to make. Circumstances and other people will not make it for you. Be present and do not avoid this junction, for it is an important crossroads. Take heart, as no matter which path you choose, you will have a rich and meaningful experience. So, if nothing else, that could provide some comfort there, right? As like I said, if you guys do feel like you're in a fog, and like I said, if that's the case, you don't necessarily have to rush yourself either, because it's understandable if you do compare that feeling with what is going on astrologically. Like I said, as the month starts to progress, you should feel that lift when all of those other energies move into your sign. So, something to keep in mind there. The relationship message says you've reached a moment of truth in the evolution of your relationship. Which will you choose? To open up to the possibility of love, or to remain isolated? To go deeper and commit to mutual passion, or to walk away? This is a time to take responsibility for your truest desire and follow it. Be honest with yourself about what you're willing to do, invest, and give. Then choose. You cannot make a wrong choice. If you move forward with a relationship, know that it will be based in truth and authenticity. You will have made a conscious decision rather than simply hanging on because you don't want to be alone, or ending things because you're afraid of the intensity of genuine connection. All roads lead to the lessons you must learn in your relationships. Regardless of the decision you make, it will place you on the path to a truer experience of the heart. So, definitely a pretty good message there. Let me see, there was one part that stuck out to me a bit more. Oh, it says if you move forward with a relationship, know that it will be based in truth and authenticity. You have made a conscious decision rather than simply hanging on because you don't want to be alone, or ending things because you're afraid of the intensity of genuine connection. So that could be what we were seeing there with that Knight of Pentacles, like I said, where in the past it was more of that Ace of Pentacles energy where you're thinking of extending an offer to someone, then as the month progresses, you finally decide to make that move, right? And for some of you, this could have even been, like I said, given that this is referred to as the lust card in some decks, this could even be saying that maybe this is a relationship where maybe, for example, you guys just have a friends with benefits thing going right now, and you're like, should I tell them I want to take things to that next level, right? So maybe it's just been a sexual relationship primarily now, and you're like, wow, I might actually want to have something more with this person, right? And maybe that wasn't your intention going into it, but maybe that's where you're finding yourself now. All right, the prosperity message says you've come as far as you can on this part of your journey, and now you're faced with a choice. Inherent in this choice is the need for change, for evolution, and for a bettering of your circumstances. Narrow it down to just a single question. Who do I need to become, and what do I need to believe in order to live a life of prosperity? Answer honestly and from the heart. Then the decision about which way to go will be effortless. Know that abundance is all around you. Choose to see it, and it will be easier to settle on the direction, for the way will be made clear by your intuition, which knows how to steer you toward your well-being. So, I mean, that one really spoke to me as far as when it says, choose to see it, and it will be easier to settle on a direction, for the way will be made clear by your intuition. Because we were talking about that high priestess energy, the moon. So, and how I was saying that new moon, so basically right before we even get into January. So for those of you who watch this, it hasn't happened yet. But that new moon in Capricorn is going to be trying your ruler, which is in your fourth house. So that could be a really supportive energy as far as getting your intuition amped up a little bit and helping you see things a bit clearer. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. All right, next we have Electric Eagle Spirit. It says, bring your ideas to life. There's the artwork, and the number is 24. Okay. It says, seemingly out of nowhere, the jolt of electric eagle spirit appears to awaken you to a big idea that you are meant to explore. Epiphanies and aha moments are gifted to you right now, so celebrate. Your life has the potential for profound transformation. Inspiration arises in you, electrifying you so that you can't wait to get started bringing your ideas to life. The revelations you experience now are meant to set you on a new path, so don't be afraid to act. Explore, examine, and do not fear the changes that may come, for Spirit wants to shower you with the love, success, and abundance that you hope to experience. Now is a thrilling time for epiphanies, inspired ideas, and innovation. This is a wondrous sign for you today. So definitely a pretty positive message there. And, I do like the fact that it said, don't fear the changes that may come, right? So, like I said, for a lot of you, it looks like at least coming into the month, you might be a little uneasy about moving forward. But again, with that Knight of Pentacles, seeing that Seven of Cups in reverse, and then the Sun, it looks like you do start to gain that confidence as the month goes on. All right, and lastly, we have a mudra card for your sign. So the mudra for you guys for this month is Shunya mudra. There it is there. And the keyword for it is omnipresence. All right, so there's some info on it if you wanted to either pause it or take a screenshot to see what it has to say. And not everything's fitting in the frame right now, so I'll move it up so you guys can get the rest of the info. Alright, but it says improves hearing, reduces ringing in the ears and earache, decreases vertigo, improves balance. Especially useful during travel. With air travel, it helps the ears adjust to the changing pressure during takeoff and landing. During water and land travel, it helps prevent motion sickness. So, maybe some of you guys are going to be traveling this month, so if that's the case and you think this would be beneficial for you guys, I will leave the name of the mudra in the description if you wanted to look into that a bit more. Once again, happy early birthday to those of you who celebrate in January, happy new year, and I'll see you guys next month. Alright, bye.